described that. That was just absolutely spectacular.
Hi everybody, I'm Tim Donnelly, voice of the Charlotte Rush, and we are in the coach's office of the Charlotte Rush here at the Extreme Ice Center. Our first video of 2018. First of all, from all of us at the Charlotte Rush organization to everyone in Rush Nation, hope you had a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We got a lot of things to catch up on as the Charlotte Rush kind of begins the second half of the season here in the 2018 portion of their season, the season moving right along. And let's talk Charlotte Rush Elite Hockey right now, and let's bring in the head coach of the Charlotte Rush Elite Club, and that is Trevor Jewell. And Trevor, first of all, Happy New Year to you. And here we go, starting it all over again now after the Christmas break. One of the first things you want to talk about, the last games the Rush played were in Florida, the big showcase event down in Fort Myers, and it was a very successful trip. Give us some highlights.
Yeah, you know, it was a good weekend for the elite group. I thought we performed pretty well. We moved the puck well. Our power play was clicking for the most part all weekend, and then you know, we had some guys capitalized with some good games there. You know, Mark Kishko had a good weekend. I thought Jimmy O'Kane had another good weekend. Our goaltending was phenomenal all weekend. You know, Keating getting a big win against a Richmond team that's always pretty tough. And you know, the other three games I thought TJ played well against Daytona. I thought he made the saves he needed to make. I mean, the two goals that were against him, I mean, he didn't really have a chance on him, and it was a couple mishaps we had in the D zone, just awareness type things. But you know, outside of that, you know, Jack Rydell, can't say enough about him starting off the weekend with 2 wins. You know, so I'm very proud of what our goaltenders have been able to do so far this season. You know, forward wise, I thought every player had a great week, whether they were in one game and out the other. I mean, they played very well. Our depth really came into play in those 4 games, and I thought we showcased ourselves pretty well. And I thought some guys gained some interest from schools already at this very young age, and I think that's very impressive for a group like that to do, to catch the eye of some schools and be able to perform on the ice and gain that notoriety. I think that's very, very exciting for them. Because you know, at that young age, to understand and have that feeling of knowing people are watching, I think it helps them only perform a little bit better and boost their confidence. So all in all, it was a great weekend, and I was very proud of our guys with the way they performed and stayed disciplined and did all the things they needed to do to win 4 hockey games.
Trevor, if we'd have known it was going to be so cold here in the last week of December and the first week of January, you guys might not have come back from Florida.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot nicer down there than it is here right now. But you know, our guys got to go home. A lot of them went to colder weather than what we have here now, and definitely more snow. So you know, it's a rough one right now weather-wise, but our guys are happy to be back. We've had a pretty good week of practice, and the excitement and buzz around the program is at an all-time high right now, I think.
Well, again, we've got guys from all over North America, so I think they're used to this kind of cold. We are not in Charlotte, but certainly they are. So a big showcase event in Florida prior to Christmas for the Charlotte Rush Elite team. 4 big wins. But, Ryan, unfortunately, it did not come without a cost. We got into a little bit of a rhubarb with the Richmond team. We got some suspensions coming up, and we're going to be a little short this weekend against Potomac.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're still waiting to hear back on some suspensions, but one thing we do know is Logan Falkingham's out for a number of games. You know, he stepped in there and did something he needed to do. A guy called him out, and, you know, he manned up and did what he needed to do for what the team needed him to do. And, you know, in that aspect, I'm very proud of him. In no way do I condone that, but at the end of the day, it's a part of hockey as much as we don't want it to be, or some people don't want it to be. It's what happens on the ice, tempers flare, and at the end of the day, some guys got to handle business to protect themselves and protect the other guys on their team. So what he did was, in my opinion, it brings teams closer together. And you know, we hate to lose him for that many games, but unfortunately that's the nature of the beast when you do something like that. And you know, the league and everybody knew we have pretty big rivalry going with Richmond, and I'm not a big fan of playing division rivals in a showcase, but that's what it shaked out to be. And unfortunately that had to happen, but or it didn't have to happen. It did happen. So I mean, it's one of those things. But you know, I commend my team for conducting themselves the way they did and not jumping over the bench and doing anything crazy. And I thought the discipline was there for the most part. But you know, at the end of the day, you don't want to see anything like that happen. It's a hockey game, and we want to make sure it stays that way, and we want to perform and showcase ourselves. And when that stuff happens, you don't really get to do that. So that's one reason I'm a little upset, is it takes guys off the ice that shouldn't be off the ice. So at the end of the day, it happened, and it's over, and we have to move on.
All right, well, stay tuned. Trevor will be updating us on the news we get from the United States Premier Hockey League executive offices on those suspensions. Again, it is Friday, January the 5th. We're here in the Charlotte Rush coach's office with our first video of 2018. And we're talking to Trevor Jewell, head coach of the Charlotte Rush Elite Club. Trevor, what was your message to the players right before they left for the Christmas break?
It's a little bit more of the same when it comes to break. Like Thanksgiving, just do the right things, stay healthy. Make sure you're on the ice as much as you can be, but not too much to burn yourself out. Eat right. Stay hydrated. Do all those things that you have to do away from the rink to make sure you're in tip-top shape when you get back. And I thought our guys did a pretty good job of that. I didn't see too much wheezing and gagging on the ice the first practice back, so I was pretty happy about that. But at the end of the day, I think it was good for them to go home. I'm a big believer in having guys go home and be around family as much as they can. A lot of them at their young age, being away from them, it takes a toll on you at the end of the day. I mean, I did it when I was young, and my little brother did it when he was young, and even when he was here. So I understand, how important that kind of stuff is, to have family time and be around them and know they have your back, and know that no matter when you go home, you still have that feeling of home. Even though we want our guys to feel home here, which they do, they still need to be around their family, and I think it's very important for them to kind of refresh and come back and be ready to go.
And Trevor, following the showcase event in Fort Myers, you went to visit your family in Pensacola and then went up to Michigan as well, right? So you did a lot of traveling yourself over Christmas.
Yeah, obviously it's always good to see my parents, and got to see my little brother and spend some time with him and his girlfriend and my family as well. And then we went up to Michigan and Muskegon, and it was practically a blizzard the whole time there. Not a big fan of snow, but it was good to see the family and be around them and get to spend some time with some people I don't get to see a lot. So very happy about that. And then obviously got to spend the new year with my family back in Florida again, and then hustled back here for practice. So right back at it right on Tuesday, and couldn't be more excited to be here and get back to work for the second half of the season.
All right, final question for Trevor Jewell. Right now, Charlotte Rush in first place in the Southeast Division of the Premier League of the United States Premier Hockey League. We have Potomac Patriots coming in this weekend. And, Trevor, we're going to be a little undermanned. And while we're in first place, they're kind of at the bottom, and they're improved this year. But, when you're in first place, everybody is going to give their best effort at the Charlotte Rush. So we're going to have to be ready for Potomac, and I know you'll have them ready.
Oh, yeah. Potomac has definitely improved since last year. I'm proud of what our guys have been able to accomplish, but, what we did in 2017 is over. I firmly believe that those wins we got will stay in 2017. So it's a new year now, and we have 12 games to prove what we really are. And, you're not wrong. Every team will give us their best throughout the rest of the season, and we have to be prepared and ready for that. And we have to come out firing on all cylinders every game for the rest of the season, especially playoffs. But, Potomac, they can sneak up on you if you're not paying attention. So we got to make sure we're on our toes and be ready to go here. Got to have a ton of attention to detail. We got to make sure we're doing everything right and having our systems on point, and make sure all our guys are performing right now. These are two huge games, regardless of the standings. It doesn't mean anything, especially in this league. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day. So our guys have to be ready to go. I know we're going to prepare for it like it's Game 7, and we have to, because we're still fighting for a playoff spot. We're fighting for home ice. We're fighting for literally everything you can think of. We're fighting for a regular season championship, which we really want, and we'll do everything in our power to make sure that gets it done.
I did have one more question for Trevor before we leave, and I wanted to chime in there. This is also credit to John Keating, the goaltending coach of the Charlotte Rush. But our goaltenders for Elite, they are playing lights out right now. Anthony Keating always gives you a great effort every single game. He's hard to beat. And then now Jack Rydell leading the entire Elite division in save percentage. So, no matter who we choose, Anthony Keating or Jack Rydell, it's going to be tough to beat them.
Yeah, I mean, all three of the goalies we have, Jack, TJ, Anthony, all of them, they make my job very difficult. And as much as I hate it, I love it. So, at the end of the day, they perform. I got to get them in there, and, we got to go with the hot hand, and we always will. But I'm so proud of what they've been able to accomplish as a group, and how they've pushed each other and been with each other and really battled with each other. I think that's what's made them so successful on the ice so far. And obviously I credit to our team and the rest of their teammates to do what they need to do in practice to make them better. And obviously John's been a huge part for our goaltending at both levels. I mean, they wouldn't be where they are without him. So, I mean, it's one of those things where if we didn't have him, I mean, I couldn't tell you a single thing how to be a goalie or what to do as a goalie. But that's why we have John, and he does a lot of other things that go without being upset. But also Brian Holland and the work he does on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, whatever they do, all the shooting they get. He does a phenomenal job with them on the ice, and John does a lot of video with our guys. And like I said, I couldn't break down a goalie video for the life of me. So I'm very grateful to have those guys involved and have them here doing the things they do, and it's a huge help for us.
Yeah, and again, TJ DeFeo would have been more in the mix had he not been injured for a while. So, yeah, that's you got 3 guys you can always depend on, and that's great news. Yeah. Trevor, Happy New Year. We look forward to the finish here of 2018. Thanks for sharing all those informational tidbits about the Elite Club, and we'll look forward to seeing you this weekend.
All right, thanks a lot, Tim.
Trevor Jewell, head coach of the Charlotte Rush Elite. Don't forget, Potomac Patriots in town this weekend. Saturday, the Rush Elite team will face it off at 5 o'clock, the Premier Club at about 8 o'clock, and then on Sunday, the Elite Rush will face it off at 9:20 against Potomac, and then it'll be about 12:15, 12:30 for the Premier game on Sunday. Thank you so much for watching our Rush videos here on this Friday, January the 5th. I'm Tim Donnelly, voice of the Charlotte Rush, and we'll see you next time.